Hello there, Master Hellish here and welcome back to my Railroute tutorial series. Now this video is going to be about the endless game mode, and it builds on top of other videos in this series, especially the all the basics one. So if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend you see that video first before you come to this one. And of course you can find the link to the playlist in this video's description. But let's jump into Railroute and have a look at the endless game mode. So here we are in the game, and at the top in the main menu we're going to go over to maps, and then we're going to go over to endless. Just like all the other game modes, we can do some sorting and filtering, and in this endless mode we're going to be starting pretty much from scratch. You usually have a relatively large map to work from, and you have to go through it and do different things along the way, and we'll talk about that when we get into a map. So let's choose one of these maps. Now recently I've been playing the Osaka map, and I feel like doing that again. Sometimes I like to choose a brand new map, experience something different and new. Sometimes I like to challenge myself on something I've done before. We're going to go into Osaka, I'm going to click play, and we're going to go new. We've got the game options here to have infinite money, all the upgrades and all the tiers of technology. If you want that more kind of creative mode sandbox environment, but if you want the full proper game, you leave them unticked and in you can go. It literally takes that long for the game to load. It is not long at all. There's no need to cut there. But what we will do is pause. Now towards the beginning of this video, I will be going over some of the things that we covered in the All the Basics video. But I'm going to do them nice and quickly to just give you a refresh, or if in case anybody missed anything. And then we'll get onto the real meat of how to do an endless game mode and what you're really chasing and the ways you can go about it. So at the top of the screen we have our money, our score and our experience. Top right we've got our help and our main menu, and in the bottom left we've got our construction, our system upgrades and contracts. Now those contracts, system upgrades and construction buttons are not available in all the game modes. Notice in endless we have access to all three of them. Across the bottom we've got our main bar, which changes depending on what we've got selected, and then we've got our time and game speed options. So what is the point of endless? Well, the idea of endless is to get a good score. And you get a good score by having lots of trains completing lots of journeys on your network. But to have lots of trains you need a big network. This little thing that we've got here will not suffice at all. So how do you expand your network? Well, you'll need to be able to add automation to your network so that you're not clicking on every little tiny thing constantly. As it grows it would become entirely unmanageable, and you also need money to be able to expand it. So what you need to do is get your trains to complete journeys. Those journeys give you XP and money, and you spend that XP and money to improve and expand your network to get more trains. So let's go through that. What we'll do first is dispatch our first train. I'll unpause the game, and we've got this little icon that's popped up here to tell us that a train wants to come onto the platform. If we hover over it, it tells us the journey of the train is going to be going from platform 2 across to the grey station and back to the same red station on platform 3. You can see it's counting down, so we better click it and put it onto the station. If I click it once, I can then choose platform 2, and that will allocate the train onto platform 2, and it will arrive. Now that train isn't grey because it's boring or anything like that. It's grey because it's going to that grey station. Okay, so we need to be able to make sure that it can get to that station and allocate a route with the signals. Now these switches here need to be set in a correct manner. Now we can see that this switch is set correctly, the train can go straight through, but this one is not. We'll get penalties if that's not the case. So let's select the switch in the right manner, check the route going all the way across, and then select the signal to allocate the train's route. Now the train is just sat at the station at the moment. It's due to be there until 8:07. So what we can do, oh no it isn't, it's due to be there until 8:02. So what we can do is fast forward by 25 times speed, and then the train will go along the route. Now notice as the train goes along the route, sections of the track become red. That's because this bit of track is counted as allocated, and you shouldn't send another train down there. No, it's not allowed. Don't do that. You also can't do construction when we look at construction on sections of track that are allocated and occupied, like this one. So this is an occupied section of track, the red bit. Now, when the train gets to the other side, it changes colour. That's because its destination is now the other station, and we need to turn it around. We could select the train and press the button in the bottom bar, but I'm just going to right click it and that will turn the train around too. Now, before we select this signal, we need to make sure that that path is going to where it needs to be, and I can see down here on the bottom bar that we want to be going to platform 3, and this switch is not set as such. So I'm going to change the switch, come over and allocate that route down, and there we go. The train can now head off down the track and complete its journey. Now, as that train goes down the track, I've got a funny feeling we're going to have an arrival of another train, and we have to be able to manage that. It's going to get very busy, and it's the system upgrades which allows you to cope with that busyness. So here we go, we've got another train wanting to come at the other station, and we need to allow that train to get to its destination. So set the switch, do the signal, and off it goes. Now, all of these trains are trial trains. Whenever you accept a contract, and of course right at the beginning of your game, trains haven't done a journey yet, so they have to do a first journey. When they do a first journey, they're a trial train. And when they're a trial train, you actually get access to its schedule, and you can change the platforms and the departure and arrival times of that train. Okay, so I click the schedule button down here on the train information. Okay, now that's a little bit important, because once a train has completed its trial, that gets locked in, and you can't change it without a system upgrade. We'll have a look at them in a second. So we'll carry on this game just for a couple of more moments, and this train down here is going to leave the station, and when it leaves the station, because it's a trial train, it will ask us to accept it, which I will, and we will get a couple of things. So at the top of the screen there, you can see we've got some more money and we've got an experience point. So let's go down to the system upgrades and see about spending those experience points. So we've got two different progress routes. We've got the the green, and there's the red. The bar across the top tells you how far you're progressing through that particular route. You can see once we get to 8, we unlock the red progression route. We get 3 of them. And we unlock T2 at 10 and T3 at 25. And you can see we've got some nice different things down here. We can get tracks with a speed limit of up to 200 kilometers an hour down in T3. That's a good one. Also down in there you've got the routing sensors. They're very useful. We might have a look at them in this tutorial. As well as in T2 you've got the arrival and departure sensors as well. Okay, but we're looking in T1. We haven't unlocked those other Ts yet, and I want a couple of different things. First, I don't want to have to click trains and accept them onto the platform. Auto-accepting trains would be a system unlock, which means I wouldn't have to do that. Another one would be, the auto-reversing of trains. We had to click our train to turn it around at the station, and having that would mean that we wouldn't need to click that extra click. So we're not going to buy anything just yet because we've only got 1 experience point. We'll come back out of there and we'll let the game continue. What we need to do is upgrade our network so that we can cope with more trains and then be able to get more contracts. So what I'll do is I'll just sit here for a little while and I will dispatch a few trains and build up a little bit of money, and then we'll look at spending them on system upgrades and spending it on construction. And after we've done that, it's those contracts. Okay, so it's been a little bit of time and I have built up some experience and money. Now what we're going to do is spend that, so we're going to go to the system upgrades, and I am going to go with what I first thought. I'm going to auto accept the trains and install that upgrade, and I'm also going to choose the auto reverse trains and install that upgrade too. There we go. Now what we'll do is we'll go back to the network and carry on running it, and you'll see the differences that will make. So if we come in here, I can allocate this train down to the station, and you can see at 10 times speed, I'm feeling quite happy about this. This is fine. This is going to be okay. Train's going down to the station. When it gets to this station, it's going to turn around itself and head back, get ready to head back the other way. I'm still going to have to do the switches, and I'm still going to have to do the signals, but for now, that's a little bit that I don't have to do myself. Okay, so let's make sure that switch is correct. Yes, it is. Now over here, we should soon be getting a train arriving. When we do get the train arriving, I won't have to accept it onto the platform. The system upgrade's going to do that for me. These two system upgrades are very nice to have upgrades towards the beginning. My personal favourites right at the start. And there we go. The train just entered the platform. I didn't have to click anything. So there we go. Those two system upgrades are done. Now we've done them. Let's just get the trains off the line. Now we've got some money to spend, so now's a good time to go into construction. If we go into construction, you can see that we've got a few different options. We've got a bulldoze mode, we've got a purchase mode, we'll do that in a minute. We've got some connections, signals, sensors and buildings. And if we click on the track here, we can see that we've got this grid pattern that we can build in, and our mouse cursor snaps to the center of these grids, and there's also the black and white area we can't build in. What I want to be able to do is separate these two lines. I don't want to be running my trains and them sharing one piece of track. We've got a station up here and a station down there, and I want them to have their own individual lines to the big station at the end there. And not only that, I want them to have their own up and down lines. We're going for a big expansion. I'm not sure if we've got enough money, but we'll see. So the first thing we're going to do is purchase more platforms. We'll purchase the platforms, one at the pink station and all of the other three over at the grey station just by clicking on them. They cost 1,500 each. Now you are limited by the number of platforms you can have in your system upgrades, and I think, is it number of platforms or number of stations? Number of stations. You're limited by the number of stations you can have. So we've unlocked all of those platforms. Now we need to do some track. Now I'm going to just delete this piece of track here, and actually, you know what, I'm going to delete that piece of track there. We're going to start a little bit of a fresh. So I'm going to click with my mouse, and it's just going to predict the route that I might want to go. So I can either do it myself by clicking and going around a corner, or if I remove that, I can just allow it to path around the corner for me. There we go. So there we go. We've got one line for a train going in one direction, and now let's see about a line for a train going in the other direction. Let's do it like that. There we go. That looks good. And now they're all going to be sharing the same platform to begin with, but later on we're going to use this platform, this station, in a different manner. Now we're going to come out of here and do something similar, but our stations don't line up, so we're going to put a little wiggle in the route, and again come out, down, across. Oh, we've ran out of money. That's okay. There's a few things we don't need. We can sell them. And the good thing about this construction mode is that when you build something, look, we're going to bulldoze this here. We're going to get 1,600 for that. If I want to place that in, it's going to cost me 1,600. It's a lossless system, okay? So you can try different things and experiment and play around to your heart's content. Now, we also need to be able to complete this line. Luckily for us, though, there's some signals that we don't need. So we can actually just sell them and get some money. Nice. Now, how much of this line can I build out of this station with the money I've got? All of it. There we go. Brilliant. So I think that will do for now. The only problem is... I'll show you what the problem is. So now we're going to have the trains coming down this route, and we can have one train going in each direction, which means we can fit more trains on the network at the same time. So, more trains on the network at the same time means we can accept some contracts. We've had a look at system upgrades, we've had a look at construction, now let's look at contracts. So to have a look at the contracts, we can open the contracts window and we can see that we've got active and offered. And these are the active contracts we've got. And it tells us all different bits of information about them. And also we can adjust the schedules. If we've unlocked the ability to do so, we can at least have a look at it even if we haven't. Or we can cancel the contract. Now, if you cancel a contract within a certain amount of number of runs, after accepting the contract, I think you can either not decline it, or maybe there's penalties. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. But you can later just get rid of them after those a certain amount have been done. And then we've got our offered contracts. At the moment, we've got 3, and we can accept or decline them from here. But also, you can accept and decline them from the conductor's offices at each of the stations. On this map, all 3 of our stations have conductor's offices, and we can see that we've got some contracts here. Now, I want to keep things nice and simple. This contract here, if we click on it, it goes from one station from the pink to the grey, but then it goes from the grey to the red. And the network I've built can't cope with that. So you know what? I'm just going to decline that contract. There's no penalty for declining the contract, and that opens up a slot next to our conductor's office to be able to accept a new contract. Now, speaking of new contracts, we've got this new contract here. I think we should accept this. I think we should get it into the loop, into the network. So, over here on the left-hand side, we've got a representation of that journey. It lists the visits in blocks, and it tells us which platform it's going to be going to, as well as its arrival and departure times. And because this is a trial train, we can change these even before it even starts. So we're going to start on platform 1, but there's this kind of clash there with another existing service. So I'm going to move the arrival time a little bit further along. Then I'm going to say we need to go to platform 1 and then come back down into platform 2. And I'm happy with that particular routine, so I'm just going to check that, and that's going to be arriving shortly. Okay, so now this train is arriving into our grey station, and we're going to get a message here. Watch this. Bad platform, -50. That's because we changed the tracks, and the train ended up going to a different platform to what was in its schedule. So I want to be able to change that schedule. Now we can do that in the system upgrades. It's called platform adjustments, and luckily it's 3 XP, as that's exactly how much we've got available. I'm going to spend that immediately. There we go. That means we can now go into the train and say, hey, your schedule, I don't want you to go to platform 2. I want you to go to platform 3. We can change that, and you can see the schedule modified means that we still get the same amount of money and everything. We can close this, and now, next time that train comes, it will go to platform 3, and it will be happy about going to platform 3. Now this train up here, it wants to go to platform 1, and that's actually fine. That's the one that we've scheduled it to go to platform 1, so we're happy about that there. So there we go. That is pretty much a start in Endless. You can do different things in different ways, but that is like the starting point. Now I am going to show you the next 2 kind of main milestones which I would walk towards in an Endless game. Okay, so we're going to have a quick look at what that ding was, and then we'll jump forward to the next couple of milestones. So that ding was this high score section, and you can see here we've had another piece of information added to this table. There's a 1 and there's a number 2, and that's because we've now completed 2 cycles of our game. And you can see it's given us a score of how much money we've made, and it gives us a percentage change. We can see that we've got a lot going up. Also, a lot of money's come out the bank because we've spent it, but that's fine. Spending money is good. So we've got a train arrived. I didn't have to click anything to get it to arrive. I'm going to allocate the route. Now you can see this signal was incorrect, so the route didn't get allocated all the way properly. So I'm going to cancel that, set the switch, and there we go. Job's a good one. So that's the cycle explained. I'm going to run this little route that I've got going here for a while, and then we're going to upgrade it with some more automation. So I've been doing some dispatching and we've got a lot of money and a few experience points in the bank, but the network is getting really full up. You can see we've got these timetables up here, and I've been going through and selecting the trains and making sure that they're all nicely closely bunched together to try and fit as much in the network as possible. And the problem is that it gets too busy. I can't keep up with all of the extra trains that we've added, and I want to be able to add more. So what we need to do is make some upgrades. Now the first upgrade we're going to do is we're going to do automatic routing. This allows us to put in auto signals so that when we select the signal and a destination, all the switches along that route automatically get set. So we're going to do that now. We're going to unlock that in that particular one, and that's going to use all of our experience points. And we're going to go into construction, and we're going to get rid of some of these signals and upgrade them to the auto signal. Now, when we do that, we don't actually have to remove the old signal. We just click on it and pay the difference. So for this particular signal here, I'm going to choose that one and that one to become auto signals. That means now you see these particular switches are not set in the right direction. It doesn't matter. I can click on the signal, click on the platform, and boom, it does the switch and allocates the route at the same time. Okay, you can see that if I unallocate it, the switch has changed. So let's move forward and do some trains and see how well this little network that I've got set up here is going to be working at getting some trains through. So 25 times speed seems appropriate. We've got a few contracts here. Yeah, let's accept some more contracts into the mix. Let's move them forward, move the contract forward to bunch in nice and tight with the other contracts that we've got there. Did I accept that one? I don't know, I can't remember, but let's get another contract. Why not? Let's put that contract in there. There we go. That's the I did accept it this time. You can see the trial trains are a different color on this preview that I've got pinned up here. Remember, you can click the station and drag it anywhere on the left and right to be able to put them in there. And what we've got here, we've got another train service that wants to come in. Yeah, fine, whatever. We're going on the right platforms. Let's accept that there. Fantastic. Now we want to be able to get all these trains flying around nice and quick, but hopefully with the automation that we're going to be using, we can do that. So we'll talk about the next level automation as soon as we demonstrated this bit. Okay, so the first trains are about to come, so we need to get ready. Now the automation that we've got already means that they come onto the platform automatically, and I've just allocated those routes, and I don't have to do the switches here. I can just do the signals and tell them to go into the platforms. The next trains are ready to come, so let's allow them. Ah, no, wait, no! Oh, right, we nearly had a problem there. These ones are not auto signals, so I need to switch those ones manually. Ooh, okay, hang on a second. While that section of track's not being occupied, let's nip in there and upgrade them to auto signals, so I don't have to flip that bit of track in the future. Nice. Get the trains onto the platforms, and as soon as those routes are ready, there we go. Now this has improved our throughput. We're able to get lots of trains all moving at the same time. Absolutely fantastic. We don't have to worry about switching any switches, and we're getting some money coming in and experience coming in. It's quite good actually. It's going quite okay. It's very busy though. Wouldn't it be great if we could afford some other sort of automation to allow this to become even easier with less clicks of the dice, so to speak? Let's put them in the platform. There we go. Well, you can see that our score is getting better. We've got a score of 10, and we've actually managed to do some dispatching. We're lower than the medium at the minute. That's fine. That's fine. We can continue. So you can see that As you expand your network and get more trains on it, it gets really busy. So we need some sensors, and they're going to be the last bit that we're going to do in this getting started tutorial. And then we'll look at individual system upgrades and mastering this in future videos. So let's skip forward now until we've got a slightly bigger network and a bit more money, and we'll get some sensors installed. So I've been running this little network we have for a couple of cycles now, and we've got lots of experience and money. So we're going to do the final part of the beginnings of Endless, and that is we're going to go into the system upgrades, and by now I've actually got tier 2 unlocked. You can see we're getting 22 trains per cycle now, and I'm going to unlock my favourite 2 sensors, or at least the ones I love to get at the beginning: the departure sensor and its friend, the arrival sensor. Now you can see I haven't got enough points, so we're just going to have to nip back and do some more trains. Okay, so that is some more trains dispatched and sorted out. Ooh, we had one there with a little delay. That's fine though. We've got plenty of money and experience points, so now I can jump in and get that arrival sensor that I really wanted. Okay, so we're going to just check, make sure. Yeah, well, let's select that and install the upgrade. And now we can automate our little network here. So construction will allow us to do our arrival and departure sensors. Let's do departure sensors first. What we do is we put these on a platform where a train will be leaving, and it tells it which way it can go. So we'll put that one on platform 1 here, one platform 1 here, and one on these 2 platforms here, because they're all the locations that trains will be leaving. We'll upgrade these signals here to auto signals, and also these signals to auto signals. In fact, I'm feeling flush. Let's upgrade all of our signals to auto signals. There we go, we've got plenty of money. Now let's configure these sensors. So you can see that these particular sensors are on the platform. If I click it, I can configure it, and what I need to do is select a way that a train can leave the station. So it's got this direction. What I want to do is say, right, if you're at the station and you're departing, I want you to go to this signal when you go to this list of stations. Now this list of stations is empty, so we're going to click on the station sign and it adds it to that list. We can have multiple stations that we want trains to go down that route to this particular signal to, but for now we're just going to leave it as that one. And then we're going to do the same for the other departure signal. I'm going to say, if you are coming from this station, I want you to go to this signal if you're going to this station. And that is as simple as that for the departure sensor. You can get a little bit more complicated when you've got multiple different ways trains can go and multiple different ways that they can go to different places. But here, then in our starter network, it's relatively straightforward. Go to this signal to get to that station, and depart from the station to this signal to get to that station. And there we have it. We've now told the trains how to automatically depart, and these signals will automatically allocate the routes out down the line. Now, we want to do something else about when they arrive at the station, because these little signals going into the station are quite laborious to keep clicking all of that all the time. And that's where our other sensor comes in, the arrival sensor. I'm going to put an arrival sensor before these signals. And I'm also going to put in an arrival sensor before these signals. And let's move that one to there and delete that one. There we go. So then we're going to say, right, for this particular, well, come out of build mode and configure the sensor. This sensor, I want to say, you've got to select 2 things. You've got to select a signal and a station. I'm going to say, right, if you go over this arrival sensor, I want this signal to activate and route you into this station. And that's pretty much it. There's other configurables you can do later down the line, but this is a beginning after all, and that is the basic function of this. So let's do the same here. I'm going to say, well, if a train goes over this sensor, I want this signal to route the train into this station. And it seems pretty straightforward, but when you get to more complex networks later down the line, things can get a lot more complicated. Now, we've set ourselves up with 4 arrival sensors and 4 departure sensors. Let's just also do a system unlock and just spend some of our money on some of the others. One of the ones I want to get is let's see, not auto blocks, routing queues. Now we can't afford it, but this would probably be a good one to get next, and it allows you to queue up orders on auto signals as per the little demonstration on the left there. That might be one that we might go for next. Maybe we might get some more station or train alerts, but for now let's see these in action. So I've just set the game to 25 times speed, and as long as I've built everything correctly, scheduled everything correctly, and set up all the sensors correctly, I won't actually have to do anything. Our first train arrives and the departure sensor gets it to go down that piece of track. It goes over the arrival sensor and it sends it into the station. The next trains come along and get departed automatically, and then the one on the right gets departed back the other way, and of course the arrival sensor welcomes it back into its starting station. And there we go, folks. That is, to me, the ultimate goal of beginning a game of Railroute. Getting yourself in the position I'm in now, where you've got trains going backwards and forwards, and look, my hands are here. I am not clicking anything for these trains to go. We've got lots of contracts that we've accepted nicely in these little patterns, and we've got trains going backwards and forwards along our network with those 2 sensors. And I think that should be anybody's first goal, is to get those 2 sensors. Work your way up to get those 2 sensors. And after that, you can start working on expanding your map, bringing in more things, going down the progression even further, and looking at all the other complicated and interesting and really rewarding things that are in the game. But for now, we are going to leave it there for the introduction to Endless. Like I said, we will be covering all the other things in this game mode later on in the tutorial series. And at the time of this video being recording, some of those videos haven't been released yet. So get subscribed so that you don't miss when they come out. And remember, I will update the playlist, and the link to the playlist is in that video description. Now, if this video has been useful and you've enjoyed it, please do give it a like. And, well, I will see you soon. Put your thoughts, ideas, and all of your questions down in the comments section, and I will see you soon. Thank you for watching, and for now, from a beautifully automated network in Endless, goodbye.